Yeah, good morning, peace loving friends all over the world. And good morning, my African brothers. Good morning, my Arab brothers. Good morning, my Latino brothers. My name is Monju Paul, popularly known in my country, Southern Cameroon, as Uncle P. I've titled this video, The Reality Behind the Shithole Statement of D. Trump, because it is a reality what he's saying, and the reality that most European nations, most European countries, most first world countries will not let it known to us. There are so many reasons why we should call it a reality. I was born and bred up in southern Cameroon, and we are living that reality every day. He is very correct to call us, most of us in the world, shithole countries. He is very correct. And that is what the United Nations has been doing to most of us. We should first of all start by asking, what is the reason of United Nations? What is the force behind United Nations? United Nations is just a mechanism to keep the status quo going, to keep those countries who think they are more better than other countries to stay in that position, to continue to be dominating other nations, making them poorer and poorer and poorer. I'm saying it now on the standpoint of the Southern Cameroonian. We were a nation, we were a people, and forced by the United Nations to join another nation. And since then, 1960, we have been under constant torture, constant domination. They have killed millions of us since 1960 up to date. They have killed millions of us, and the killing is still going on. But the United Nations is very quiet with that fact. What Donald Trump said is what most leaders of the so-called privileged countries or the so-called first world countries have been saying in the recent years, but nobody has ever kept an ear to. And you know why I'm happy to hear what Donald Trump said? Is because he's like a child in a family. A child cannot keep a secret. A child will just say the secret openly. And that is what happened to Donald Trump. He just said it as it is. He said it the way it is. He said he made a statement of what they always plan in their meetings. Okay, last year in Hamburg, in the so-called G7 or G6, the G World Nations conference in Hamburg, the French president made this statement: Africans are poor because they have a lot of children. Just listen to it. Africans are poor because they have a lot of children. But the reasons why Africans are poor is because the French government, along the years, has made most African nations to be shithole nations, to be shithole countries. They have killed their folk chosen leaders and placed people there to be working for their interests. They kill millions of Africans every day just for their interest. And they say Africans are poor because they have a lot of children. The only thing the Frenchman gives Africans is when they kill their people, they place the so called French cultural centers in their most cities. And those French cultural centers are nothing less than a tool to keep you people dominated. Okay, let's go now to the United Kingdom. The prince of that nation, Prince Henry, said it last year, last year too. The Africans are getting a lot of children and they cannot develop for that reason. It is not true. Their colonization and the evil of colonization has made Africans to remain where they are. Because after they came and made a United Nations and said, okay, we're going to stop colonization, they still use the United Nations to keep on pressing down on the third world countries, the Arab nations, the Africans, the Latinos. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. And the best reality is that there is no other nation apart of the first world countries that has got a veto right in the UN Security Council. Why do you think only the US, the French, the British, the Chinese, the Russians have got a veto power? Because there is no democracy in there. Because there is no democracy. There is no democracy. They make us to remain down there so that they should keep on dominating us. If you go to my country, Southern Cameroon, you see how devastated the country is. And we are reaching everything. We have everything that a nation needs to get rich. But it is impossible to get rich. It is impossible to get developed. Just because the French has got its hands everywhere. You know what? Last October 1st, we stood up to declare our independence. But hundreds of our people were killed. Although we are in this struggle, the French keep exploiting our raw material. The French keep implanting their so-called rulers in our nation. They still keep people there to try to suppress us. And they call us shit countries. They call us shithole countries. Just because they know what they do to us. We can't be the feeder of the world and still remain poor. So I am so glad with the statement Donald Trump made. We shouldn't blame him for that. He's just like a child. Because a child cannot keep a secret. And that's the secret behind everything. That's the secret behind the United Nations. Resolution 1608 of the United Nations made our country a free country, an independent country. But still yet we are not independent. We are not free. We are still under bondage. Just because the United Nations is there like an instrument to keep dominating our nation. So I call what Donald Trump said the reality, because it is what the French government, the French President Macron said in Hamburg. It is what Prince Henry said in the UK, and that is it. I think if we should stand up and fight against those people they have kept to be as our rulers, which are not voted, and we vote, choose our own leaders that will run our affairs, we shall be more than them in everything because we have all the raw materials. The reason why they keep us in bondage is because they cannot survive without us. We grow the cocoa, we grow the coffee, we got the oil, we got all the minerals, but they dictate the prices on us. And that is the reality. Until we, the shithole countries, open our eyes and stand up and fight against those so-called leaders they put on top of us, we will not change the status quo. We will not change the situation. So it is just a reality that Donald Trump called us a shithole country. I can't blame him for that. He has just, it is an eye opener for most of us from those shithole countries to stand up as one and fight against those leaders that are placed upon us to build up our nations. I am based here in Germany. Germany has got nothing that we haven't got in Cameroon or in southern Cameroon, but they are more developed than us. But they are more developed than us. Why? Because now that we are fighting, the streets of my country is covered with the blood of freedom fighters. But Germany is still negotiating deals to exploit minerals in my country. The French government is there in full swing, turning our rainforest into desert. Every day, every day, every hour, every minute of the day, you will find truckloads of timbers going out. And then they call us poor because we have a lot of children. As I'm talking now to you, our leaders were kidnapped in cooperation with the French government in Nigeria just to force them to stop the fight to liberate our nation. And they call us shit countries, shithole countries. This is an eye opener for us that we have to stand up and kick their asses out of our nation to be able to build our nation, develop our nation, bring back our brothers home who are suffering abroad. As I said before, just ask yourself, why is it that Africa, which is more populated than the entire Europe, hasn't got a nation hasn't got one single nation in the Security Council? Why is it that Africa, which is more populated than the entire Europe, hasn't got a veto power in the Security Council? Why is it that the Arab nations haven't got a veto power in the Security Council? Why is it that no Latin American nation hasn't got a veto power in the Security Council? So you can answer that question for yourself. You can answer that question for yourself. You can answer that question for yourself. If you go to the African Union, the French government has got its hand right in there. They corrupt everything. They corrupt everything. Just to say a few. In Ivory Coast, they kicked out the democratic elected president, Gbagbo, and brought in their stooge, Ouattara. And in that process, lots of Ivorians were killed. In Togo, there is a family that since independence, protected and kept there by the French. And they killed our brothers in Togo every day. In Burkina Faso, the same thing is happening. Our young, brave soldier, Thomas Sankara, was killed cold-bloodedly and replaced by somebody who ruled the country as a dictator for over 20 years. You go to Congo, Brazzaville, it's the same thing. Sassou Nguesso and the family have been there for decades, protected by the French. The country is getting back into years immemorial, years that you can't think about. No street, nothing. They have been protected by the French just because they want to get to the raw materials at all costs. They kill their citizens every day. In Zaire, Kinshasa, our brave and able freedom fighter, Patrice Lumumba, was killed like a dog. The body actually completely dissolved with acid so that they shouldn't see a trace of him. by these people who call us shithole countries. The Americans were involved. The Belgians were involved. The French were involved. And they say UN is bringing peace to the world. They have made the war more insecure than what the war used to be. Just to name a few. I think this is an eye opener for us to stand up now and fight to get these people out of our nations, to build those nations for the future of our children. As a Southern Cameroonian, I say, Aluta continue. Aluta continue. Aluta continue. Resolution 1608 made my country an independent country. But since 56, getting to 57 years, we have been in constant bondage. And they call us shithole nations. Donald Trump, thank you for opening the eyes of Africans, Arabs, and all the third world countries. It is not just a mistake that no other nations have got a veto power in the Security Council or have even gotten a member in the Security Council, except you people, the thieves, the devils, and what have you. We'll see in the next video of the series Reality in the Statement Shithole Countries made by Donald Trump.